Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition, and today I figured I'd bring you a video about one versus many games. And now that I'm saying it, I figure I need to reach behind me and we'll grab one more just for the talking. One more just for the talking. So we got this one here, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Alright, so I figured I'd bring you guys a video about one versus many games, which the title or the name of the game type explains a lot of it, right? It's one player versus a lot of players. Usually one player plays as the bad guy, and then the other players play as good guys. So the main two games we got here are CMONs Rise of Moloch, well, the World of SMOG Rise of Moloch. This is a 2 to 5 player, one versus many game that takes 60 to 90 minutes. At least that's what the box says, and it's for ages 14 plus. And you'll see I have pretty much everything. I have everything for Rise of Moloch. The other game, the other main game that we'll talk about is Dark Rituals. And I know I tried to read it for you guys before. I'll even look inside the box. Malleus Maleficarum. Malleus Maleficarum. Maybe I got it that time. But this is from Dark Gate Games. Dark Rituals is from Dark Gate Games. This is a 2 to 5 player, one versus many. That is takes 2 hours. At least that's what the box is. It takes 2 hours to play. It's for ages 14 and up. I will say, I'll probably repeat it later on in the video, that this does have a one-player mode where you play as the bad guy. And then the other thing that we have here is Ravensburger's Jaws. This is a 2 to 4 player, one versus many. This also has hidden movement, and one player plays as Jaws, and everyone else plays as, now I can't remember the name. Cooper's one of them. There's the sheriff. I don't think Cooper's the sheriff. Anyways, you get to play that. This game is for ages 12 and up, and it's a 60-minute game. So, what is one versus many? Like I said already, it means one person plays versus a whole bunch of people. Now, why did I bring these games out? Because I wanted to talk about them. And so I feel like Jaws let's start with Jaws. This is the game that got me into it. So one player plays as Jaws, and I tend to be the one player. So a lot of times, sorry, there's a dog barking outside. A lot of times, I end up being the bad guy, right? So a lot of times when I do the how to play videos, you're going to hear me say, he would do this, he would do that. That's because it's me. So if you're getting everything all in a bunch, unbunch them. It's because I tend to be the one. So it is a he. But in Jaws is the first one I played, right? And I didn't know if I liked one versus many. But I played Jaws and I realized, man, I really like this game. It's fun being one versus many. If you are the one, you have to assume that you're going to get picked on. People are going to pick on you. Just assume that and be okay with that. And it's all in good fun. And you get to do evil, despicable things to your friends. And the first part of Jaws, you're trying to find out where Jaws is, just like in the movies, right? You put buoys out in the ocean and you're trying to figure out where Jaws is. And the second part, Jaws is trying to eat your boat, right? So you're going to do wicked little things to your friends and try to eat the boat. So I ended up getting this one, and it's what got me into the one versus many. So we'll go ahead and slide this out of the way because it wasn't the main topic of the video. I just thought about it when I was setting up this video. That's what got me into the one versus many. Once that happened, I ordered Dark Rituals. They did a second Kickstarter, and they said they had everything. And we've talked a little bit in some of my videos. One of my things is I'm a collector, and I want it all. For good or bad, I want it all. But when they redid the Kickstarter, they had the basic, and they said that in the pledge manager we still have a little bit of everything left, and they were getting rid of what they had left over in stock, and they added a soundtrack to it to justify the Kickstarter. And then when I was waiting for Dark Rituals to come in, Rise of Moloch, well, the World of SMOG, Rise of Moloch, I'd heard a lot of people talk about it. It was from CMON, which I like, and not even talk about. Some people always had it in their background. I noticed it's in the background of a lot of YouTubers' videos, board gaming hobbyists, YouTubers videos, how you want to look at YouTubers videos, or people had mentioned it in passing. Rise of Moloch is one of my favorite one versus many, or CMON does have times where they have great minis and bring a lot of fun, like Rise of Moloch, things like that. So then, Miniature Market, which is I think they're in Minnesota. They're back east somewhere. I'm on the West Coast. They're back east somewhere. They had a sale where I could get everything from the Kickstarter for the same price it would have cost to back the Kickstarter, right? It's something you can do when you see sales. If you're interested, you can always look at Kickstarter and see old Kickstarters. So I got Rise of Moloch. Now, Rise of Moloch came in first, go figure, and then Dark Rituals came in. So I figured it'd be interesting to talk about one versus many, and out of these two, which one should you pick? Now, spoiler alert, I'm not going to give you a definite, you should pick this game, because there's some things with each game. There's some pros and there's some cons with each game, right? And then I feel like the best thing for me to do is to give you guys information, and then you guys can suss out which you like, or maybe neither of them you like, but you like the idea of one versus many. What else is out there? There's lots of other games. Going back to Jaws, I got, and I talk about this in the video, for $8.99. It's normally, I think, $29.99. For $30, it's still a decent game, and you can get it at any big box, not any big box, or you can get it at Target. You can probably get it online at the big box stores like Amazon and stuff, and you could probably get it at a discount less than $30. And I do think that one's fun, right? But the main video, I figured I'd talk about these two. So let's go ahead and talk about theme first. So the theme for Rise of Moloch is Victorian steampunk, mixed in with witchcraft and demons. So basically, the story behind it, which builds the entire theme, is there's an occultist group. They run into this old god from that they find in Egypt, but it's interesting. I think Moloch, and I talked about this. The friend is Lebanese. He's Middle Eastern god, an old god, if I remember right. But anyways, in Egypt, they come across it, and these cultists, this cult wants to bring Moloch back. So the Rise of Moloch. So you play as the Unicorn Club, the gentlemen of the Unicorn Club, and women can be gentlemen. It says it right off in this. It's just the name. So the gentlemen of the Unicorn Club. You play as them, and you're trying to stop Moloch. So all the characters, all the players, heroes are the Gentlemen's Club, and they're fighting against Moloch. And this goes through stories, right? This has a whole bunch of stories in that. So that's the Rise of Moloch. So if you're into steampunk, if you're into monsters, one of the heroes you could play as is on the side of the box is the werewolf Drago, or is it? I think it's Drago or Dargo. It's something like Drago. Is the werewolf. You have a ghost, a female ghost that has like Cthulhu tentacles wrapped up from under, like jumping out from underneath her, like she's floating above them. Those are probably my two favorite. But then you have the commander with the big steampunk arm, and I always call him Tesla. I think his last name's Caverdash. You could see me talk about some of these people in the how-to videos, but he's like a Tesla guy. He deals with electricity and stuff like that. So you can play as monsters and ghosts and steampunk heroes, right? And alien stuff too, because there's Emma Swanson, which I still think there's a TV series. And if anybody knows, go ahead and put it in the comments. There's a TV series that has an Emma Swanson, and it's steampunk, and it's similar to this theme. And I don't know how close. Is it? Maybe no, it's not Penny Dreadful. Anyways, so the theme of this is Victorian, steampunk, magic, aliens, and definitely with some of these expansions, alien stuff. So that's the theme of this game, right? And trying to bring up a demon. Now, for Dark Rituals, the theme for Dark Rituals is it's medieval, and they call it the conjunction. So there's another parallel, not parallel. There's another universe, right? Where there's lots of witches and demons running around, and they're just witches and demons in that universe, from what I can tell from the lore that I've read so far. And the two universes get really close, and they make these conjunctions where they touch, right? And magic starts to work in our universe, medieval universe, and people start realizing that herbs and these spells are actually working and becoming more powerful, right? They can make, there's these weird herbs and plants and stuff that they could use, and they bring magic. But what also happens is some witches leak into our world. And it starts with that. Is it Perkra? In the story, it says she's the first to come over. So this theme is medieval witches and demons, because the witches sometimes will bring demons in to help them. And the fun thing about that is the demon doesn't always help the witch. And we'll talk about that a little bit in mechanics. So that's the theme for this one. This one's medieval witchcraft and demons, right? So this one you're gonna get. There's the knights in armor. Now I'm trying to think of them. There's the rogue kind of figure. There's Cadre. I'm always bad with names. She has a crossbow and she's like an assassin kind of figure. And you have kind of your paladin and your berserker guy. You have what's his name? I want to say Barbados right now, but it's not Barbados. So you have him, and he's like a hangman. He has a big hangman, thing hanging behind him, and it's really fun. So if you like the medieval theme and witches and demons here, if you like the supernatural, so we can do supernatural with either of them. You like supernatural and steampunk, you kind of got it here. Now, next, let's go ahead and talk about the amount of players. Both of them on the box say 2 to 5 players, right? But Dark Rituals comes with, if you get, base game. So you know what? Now that I think about it, I would just give the little hint up ahead. It would have to be the Kickstarter expansion or buying it aftermarket and getting the base game. I'm not really sure if you can go to their website and maybe pull up the PDF. Well, probably not, because you need the cards and stuff. But the Kickstarter stuff allows you to play one. So there's that. But rewind with me for a second. They're both 2 to 5 player games. No matter what, in both these games, there are going to be 5 heroes, right? They call them something different in each one, but there's going to be 5 heroes, right? And one person playing either the nemesis over here or the witch master over here, which controls the witches and everything, and the nemesis over here controls the zombies and the agents and whatever else is on the board. All right, so they both have the same player count. So good for me. I always like the larger. I know, as silly as it sounds, I kind of aim for that 6 sweet spot, and just the game nights that I have a lot, not a lot, but relatively I'm getting mixed up on my own words. But often enough, let's go often enough, once a month, there's probably 5 or more people there. So that's kind of what I was aiming for. But you could still play these. What happens is if you have under 5, one person still plays we'll call him the bad guy. One person plays the bad guy in both these. And the other people will play whatever character. So there's 4 other characters in each one. So let's say there's 3 people playing. One person is the Witchmaster or the Nemesis, and the other 2 people play 2 characters each. So that's the player count, and it's in there. It's in my sweet spot. It definitely is. So then the next thing that we can talk about is mechanics, right? So the mechanics of both the games, and I'm keeping with just the base. I haven't gotten into any of the expansions. I've opened them up like a little child, and I've gone through everything and looked at them and went, ooh. But the mechanics, they're both minis games. They are both dice rolling, mitigated somewhat by, I'm thinking this one, gear and arsenal. This one is, you pick up herbs on the ground, or I keep calling them herbs, botanicals. That's what is in here, botanicals, and it works. Botanicals and in gear over here, which can be things that hooks your weapon or amulets that you hold, and some extra spells. These guys get spells that they can use. These guys have special abilities. It's similar, right, in that sense. And they're both, you roll some dice when you attack and defend, and there's things that go on with the dice. I don't have the Rise of Moloch dice out, but you can watch the how to play, and I kind of go over that. Though I forgot to say, I think in the video, that the top hats mean block. No matter what, they mean block. But you would have to watch the video or go back and watch it. But not just umbrellas block. But this one has dice, and then this one I have the dice out right here, and you have some defense dice and some attack dice, right? And depending on what you have, the more dice you roll, get a roll, and things like that. So they're both dice rolling, and they can be mitigated in some ways by what kind of cards you have. So both of these are both miniature games. They're both Ameritrash. I haven't done a full video talking about Euro game versus Ameritrash game, and I kind of really want to. I like them both, but it's funny. I'll see some snobbery on one side of it. You can guess because one's called trash, and it's that dice rolling. So they both have that dice rolling aspect. You're going to attack, and you're fighting each other, right? Well, the good guys are fighting the bad guy, um, but you're fighting, and so you do that through rolling the dice and what kind of equipment and cards you can use and how you can work with each other and stuff like that. Um, and then with both of them, you could play each scenario by itself with both of them, and then you also have a campaign. So it works through. I've played through a couple of them for Dark Rituals, played through a couple of them for Rise of Moloch. It works through a story. Now, with Dark Rituals, unless I'm missing something, like I said, I've played this a handful of times, a few times, shall we say 3 times, somewhere around there. I don't remember anything where you get to keep equipment moving forward. I'd have to go back and look because I keep playing a single scenario. Um, but your characters are fairly strong, anyways. And I think that at the beginning of each chapter, you kind of lower down. And the reason I say that is because by killing things, you get a bump up in this one. You get a bump up, and so there's that kind of storytelling. So I'm pretty sure you start not at 0 because your guys can be fairly powerful, and then through that story they rank up a little bit. Through the next story, we can call them chapters. This one in Rise of Moloch, I'm pretty sure they call them chapters, but you kind of go through everything. Go through. Then you go back and then you build back up and you go back. Same with the Witch Master and how they go through things. They start and they build back up, start, build back up, go back down, build back up. But Rise of Moloch, in the campaign version, there's what's called an intermission, and you get to get special items to help you out. The Nemesis, based on what items you go and pick up, gets extra points to build out some of their nefarious things that they can do, and you get to keep the stuff from round to round. The uh, I'm blanking on it. The Unicorn Club, gentlemen of the Unicorn Club, they get to keep their equipment, and you're supposed to keep track of that, which can be kind of a pain as you go through. In this one, you also look at who's won and who's lost each chapter before you go to the next one. That dictates what happens in the next one. So this one has this intermission kind of. It's not a mini game. People refer to it as a mini game. You have to go to spots. Whatever spot you go to, there's points connected to it, and the Nemesis gets those points to be able to add some extra abilities for that next chapter to their board. But there is a part where did the Nemesis win? Did the Nemesis lose? And there's Moloch stones, which is extra powerful items that each side will get depending, and things will change. One of them in the first chapter, if one of the agents for evil, right, one of the Nemesis's agents die, they're a zombie in the next round, so they don't get all that special abilities that they would normally have. They're just basically you use their miniature, but they're a zombie, which is kind of fun. So both these have dice rolling. Both of them are one versus many. They both play through a story. This one definitely plays through a story. I have fun. I have fun with both these reading through the story stuff. There's a story. This one's a little more in depth, and you tend to build your character up as you progress through the entire story that's in the base game. I'm talking about the base games. This one, it seems that you go through that chapter, and then you set your stats not to 0, but back down to their starting stat, and then you go through the next chapter and set them back to the starting stat. Now, this one uses stamina to do actions, and each hero, we'll say hero because I can't remember what they call them, each hero has a set amount of stamina, right? And the Witchmaster has a set amount of stamina. And how the rounds go through with this one is hero goes, Witchmaster goes, hero goes, Witchmaster goes, hero goes, Witchmaster. It's a constant back and forth, right? Any hero can activate at any point. You just decide who's going to go, and the Witchmaster can pick any of the characters that are in their control, which are minions, monsters, and demon. We'll talk about that in a minute. That are in their control. As long as they have the stamina, they can do stuff. They can attack, they can block, they can move, those basic things, right? The witch can summon things back up if they have some extra from one's dying. The heroes can attack and block and move and pick things up and trade things, right? Things like that. All that basic stuff you kind of get in the dungeon crawler kind of game. But how it goes is hero goes, villain goes, right? Hero goes, villain goes. And so you use stamina for everything, for attacking, for blocking, for moving, for picking things up, for doing magic for either of them. You use stamina for it. There's some magic that you don't, and there's some magic that you do. But I'd say you go 2 actions. Each person gets 2 actions, right? The hero gets to move, and the heroes decide, and whatever hero gets to do 2 of whatever that list of actions are. The Witchmaster has to pick what they want to move, and when they move it, they do 2 of that action. They pick one of the things on the board, and that either minion or that monster does 2 actions. And it's not all of them move. It's one. Let's say one minion. It's the Reavers, which are creepy little bird things that I kind of really love. They would, let's say, move 1 and then attack. Right? You don't move all the Reavers. You don't move all the minions. Anything like that. The Witchmaster picks one of the miniatures, one of the characters on the board that they control, and they move it. They could also do the same with the witch. Now, with the Rise of Moloch, what happens is you go and have a board that sets up. I can't remember that phase. There's a phase it's called, and you decide. You can watch the how to play if you want, and you basically line up the order that you want your heroes to go, the gentlemen to go, and then you line up the order that you want the nemesis, the agents, the minions for the nemesis. And the nemesis has a chaos card which allows the nemesis to do some special stuff like that. And I'm trying to be brief because you can watch the video. I'm not trying to force you guys to watch the video, but if you're interested, you can watch the video. So the nemesis, you put down your cards, and then you pick up a hero card or a gentleman card. That gentleman activates. They have 2 actions. Basically the same thing. Pick up, move, attack, help. There's things like that. So the basic kind of stuff. So it's either going to be one of the gentlemen or allies that they have on the board can do stuff too. So gentlemen would go. We'll say the Unicorn Club will go, then the Nemesis goes. Then the Unicorn Club goes, then the Nemesis goes. And it does go back and forth, but it's based on the cards. In this one, the heroes have to decide. The leader has the ultimate decision. The heroes have to decide what order they're going to activate in, instead of just choosing whatever order they want to activate in. And in this one, the same character can go twice, right? As long as they have stamina, it doesn't matter, and everybody agrees at the table. In Rise of Moloch, you pick who goes. So let's say Drogo goes the werewolf goes first, and the commander goes second. You follow that order. Even if Drogo goes first, and then the nemesis does something, and it would help for Drogo to go again, you can't. It's whoever's next, and they have to deal with that. The other thing is, with ally cards, there's bobbies in here, like the British police, and there's also zombies. There's a couple different minions that the nemesis can use. If when one of those cards pops up, the ally or the nemesis cards, the heroes or the gentlemen get to move all of them, all the bobbies. So let's say there's 5 on the board, they get to move all 5 of them, and they get 2 actions. They can attack, they can move, right? And they could do the actions twice if they want. Same with the nemesis. When his card flips, he can move all of his minions, which in the first couple games are zombies. They're shambling zombies with top hats and little canes and stuff. Because in this world, zombies are used for manual labor. It's the evil occultists that have affected them to make them attack the gentleman's club. So zombies are normally walking around in this world, but because the occultists are up to some bad things, they're up to no good in the neighborhood, right? They get the normal, just manual workforce, the zombies, to turn against them. So it's almost just like the humans turn against them, but it's fun that they're zombies. So anyways, that's how that goes through. Whenever an ally or a minion card, they're going to move all of them on the board. And so with this one, for special abilities, you have to use this stuff's called ether. It's a currency. And the thing is, if the gentlemen use ether, it goes directly to the nemesis. And then the nemesis can use the ether to boost their special abilities and it's not magic, but it's their chaos cards. It's Nemesis power cards. They could use their Nemesis power cards. Some of the chaos cards, they get a hand of some chaos cards that they can put down. Then they can do that too. Dark Rituals, they have cards. It's the Witchmaster's cards, which do some summoning, and there's some extra magic and stuff. Those card things they're similar. But with this one, the ether that the heroes spend goes straight to the Nemesis. They assign it to certain things and then can use it on their turn. And the heroes there's very few ways that they can get ether, and one of the main ways is from the dice roll. Watch the video if you want to know. But that's how the gentlemen get ether. But once they use it, how the Nemesis gets ether is from the gentleman doing stuff. And the game's set up. I've played this one a few times, and you can try to choke out the Nemesis in a sense, cut off their ether supply. It doesn't really work, right? And the other thing is, we found in one game, as gentlemen, you don't want to wait and do a whole bunch of action, spend a whole bunch of ether at once because you think you're just going to destroy, or you're going to get way across the board. Because in the game that I'm talking about, they did that. What turned around is the Nemesis grabbed a whole bunch of chaos cards off that ether, and I was the Nemesis, and then went through those cards, and I had like 10, I think, cards. And out of the 10, 4 of them I used, but it was enough to end the game, to just devastate the gentleman. Do what I had to do was kill the damsel, but kill the damsel they were trying to save. So this goes off ether, right? And that's the main mechanic that goes through. So that's the mechanic of both of them. They're very similar, but there's some distinct differences, especially the ether and then just individual stamina that doesn't go to the bad guy, and then the how movement goes. This is set movement. A Rise of Moloch has a set movement. This person goes, and this person goes, and this person goes. Well, this person goes, then the Nemesis. Then this person goes, then the Nemesis. Then this person goes, and the Nemesis. Now, Dark Rituals does have the back and forth, but it's not set. So, Carde can go, and then the Nemesis can go, and then Carde be like, they almost killed me, I need to kill them. So everybody at the board's like, yeah, you go, move, do what you need to do. Then the Nemesis, and they can activate anything they want, right? So they're both fun and interesting. There's a little programming with Rise of Moloch, and this one there's more of a back and forth. Now, price-wise, Rise of Moloch, its MSRP is $99, but if you've paid attention to games, they're slowly bumping them up because they say shipping and it's hard for the factories right now and stuff like that and getting product. And I'm still on the fence if I'm for or against. The better argument that I've heard is from people who've been in the industry for a while, games have been fairly low for a long time. This is the same with video games. And that slow increase, this is a good reason and a needed reason for them to increase, but it's justifiable. Probably games should have been a little higher. With that said, you can look for about $100 for this. I believe you can find this some places. Maybe not though. This might be harder to find. But this one is $100 basically. Though, if not, probably about 150 to find this in one of these expansions. It's this one up here. Expansion, the Cursed Fjord, I think is what it is. It doesn't say it on the side. All right. So I would say they're similar in price for the base game, right? Not talking about the all-ins. The all-ins might be similar too. I think this one was a little cheaper over here. Is another reason I picked this one up. After Jaws and stuff like that. So price-wise, even for $100, the core boxes give you a lot of game to play. There's a lot of variability. Off the top of my head, I want to say they both have. I don't think they're double digits in the main stories that you get without the extras, but they both have high, like 8, 9 scenarios to go through, right? And that's not counting, there's what card you shuffle decks, and there's different cards that come out that can change things and how they work. And then this one, who wins, who loses, can change things. And this one, I forgot about it. Dang it, I went right into the money. The interesting thing about Dark Ages, and I've been able to get Moloch's minion out. There's a minion of Moloch that looks like Moloch, or for an Apostle Moloch or something like that. But with this one, when the demon comes out, there is a demon. The core box comes with a demon. He's really wicked with 4 arms and a whole bunch of mouths and like these snake tails. He doesn't necessarily work with the Witchmaster or the heroes. The Witchmaster brings him into the world hoping that he will help slow the heroes down, kill the heroes in some way. But the mechanics is going back into mechanics. With this one it has an extra mechanic, and that's the demon. And what happens is there's a deck of cards, and the demon cards flip. The demon can attack everybody in the area around him. The demon can be controlled by the heroes. They do one action with the demon. They're allowed one action with the demon, or one activation. So the demon could decide to move towards the witch or one of the witch's minions and attack that witch's minion. The witch master can control the demon. So the demon can do what it wants. The demon can be controlled by the heroes, and the demon can be controlled by the witch master. And how the demon works is at the beginning of every round. So all the stamina runs out. I did a how to play this, so you can watch it if you want more information. But all the stamina runs out, and then everyone's done, so no one can move anymore. Everybody gets their stamina back, unless it's locked because of certain things. The witch can lock some stamina on the heroes. Everyone gets their stamina back. First round starts, right? As the first round starts, you take that demon card and you flip it over, and it says, demon does this, right? And it's usually like, I'm going to attack anybody who's around me kind of thing. Demon attacks, or the Witchmaster controls the demon for one activation. You do that instantly. So you flip that card and the demon does something. Or the heroes control the demon for one activation. You do that. So at the beginning of each round, once the demon's on the board, you flip a demon card out and you set it down. I've gotten to the point where in the story the demon's already on the board. So it'd be interesting to, every time I start, I got to put that card out and see what happens. So there's that extra mechanic here. But going back to price, I would argue that they're similar in price. Dark Rituals might be harder to find. I think it's a Kickstarter exclusive, which kind of ruins everything, which makes it a little more expensive. But you might be able to find some people who got it and they weren't super interested in it and they decided to sell it. But I'm going to argue close in price. We'll put it that way. And they're both worth the base price that you would pay for it. The reason that I got all the Rise of Moloch stuff for so cheap was Rise of Moloch itself was super cheap in the sale, and then everything else was knocked down from what they were asking, which got it closer or a little bit under what it was at when it first came out on Kickstarter. I want to say this was like 75% off, super cheap. But this one I backed on Kickstarter, so I paid the Kickstarter price and stuff. But price-wise, I think they're both worth the money. So if you run across either of these games, the price tag, I think it's worth it. There's a lot of game in there and it's fun. But always remember, think about your game groups and that kind of stuff. So my overall opinion about the games is I love them both, right? It depends on what I kind of feel like. Recently, I've been playing more Dark Rituals. I think it's because with some friends I started playing Rise of Moloch, and I kind of want to play through the story with them now. But would I play either of these games again? Yes. I'm waiting for someone to say, hey, do you want to play? And I do have some friends that are saying it, but we don't have the whole group saying they want to play. There's some people in one group, and if you're watching, you know who you are, that's not big on miniature and Ameritrash. They don't like the dice rolling as much and stuff like that. So it's more of a push. But I would definitely play both these games again if someone asked them. Wait for people to ask to play these games. Would I ask to play them? Yes. I brought this game and said, hey, let's play this game with one group. I keep offering this game up, and it just hasn't taken. Maybe one of these days I'll just bring it, and then we'll sit it out and we'll play it. So would I play them both? Yes. Would I ask to play them both? Yes. And I know it's kind of a biased thing because it's a video based on games that I've spent my personal money on getting. I was thinking about that earlier in the shower. I do a lot of shower thinking. Maybe you do too. But I was thinking that like a lot of the games I'm showing now are going to be, will I play it again when I ask to play it again? There might be some that aren't, but a lot of these are games that I bought because I'm already way interested in. So I would definitely play both these again, and I would ask to play them both again. So just because I know this video maybe is a little bit longer, I'll go through a run through again. Theme, it's medieval and magic. Well, sorry, erase. Rise of Moloch, the World of SMOG, Rise of Moloch. The theme here is Victorian, steampunk, supernatural, and aliens, ghosts, demons, all that kind of stuff right here. You get the cold stuff. The theme over here is medieval and demons and witches from another world. So there you go. The mechanics, similar. Both have dice that you throw. You're fighting each other. They're both one versus many games. The player count on both of them are the same, 2 to 5 players. Um, and then price, I would say they're equal in price. So there's the rundown on them. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sure I've missed a whole bunch. Yes, I do have all the Kickstarter stuff out here because, I mean, I got it and I want to dive into it. I guess I can do a quick. These are game expansions, so this is all extra boards. This is the Kickstarter, all the extra stuff with the Kickstarter, just characters and stuff. These are character packs. Have some people that the Nemesis can play with and some heroes. Over here, these are expansions down here at the bottom too, so they have extra tiles and stuff. This is the Kickstarter exclusive box. These are witch boxes, so they give you witches and some minions. And then I have like a bowl and some 3D train and a couple over here is the hero and I think 2 witches over there. And then, dice, and I still don't know what those plastic coins are for, but Miniature Market said it was for World Rise of Moloch. So basically everything I've told you guys is what I know from the base games, but here's all the cool extra stuff that you can get. And a lot of this stuff, I mean, all this I got from Miniature Market, so the stuff you can get after market. And same here, but it might be a little higher price tag. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. I'll see you later, everybody. Bye.